Is he? I mean, I don't know. There seems to be a general opinion about Big. Oh, it's Shawn C. By the way, you already know who it is. There seems to be a general opinion about artists like Big Sean. There's like this stamp on Big Sean, like a level of corniness that, in my opinion, people give without actually explaining why. It's just kind of like the thing to say. Why do people consider Big Sean such a shoddy, such an average, such a weak rapper? Feel free to leave your reasons down in the comment section below if you do not like Big Sean. I mean, I don't dislike him, but I have my own reasons as to why I feel like he should not be considered for the top tier spot yet. So it's kind of like the cool thing to say that Big Sean is corny or that he's whack, right? But I feel like there are actually legitimate reasons for why he shouldn't be or is not at the level that fans or even himself, because he feels a way about not being considered in the top spot of hip-hop. There are a few reasons why, and I believe one of the biggest reasons that Big Sean does not get the respect that even he feels he deserves is because he has no persona. Big Sean is an artist that literally raps about Big Sean, alright? There's no separation. There's nothing appealing about Big Sean other than Big Sean, and if you're not keen on Big Sean, then there's really no reason for you to listen to his music, anticipate it, be excited about it, want to hear more from him. I mean, you all know my opinion of artists like Drake or Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole, but the reason these guys are probably parallel to the top or considered for those spots is because they actually have a persona or something that people believe could be different about them other than what they portray in their music. Big Sean tells you exactly who he is with the music that he makes. There's no mystery, there's no second guessing, there's nothing else that you need to gather from what Big Sean is, because he tells you in his music with what little detail he actually seems to have about his own life. It's almost to the point where it's like someone else could easily rap about Big Sean's life better than he could. So back to the persona thing. I feel like Big Sean does not have this strengthened alter ego, this thing that can actually parallel his music in one direction while he subsequently is going in another. You know, like T.I. did with his whole Tip versus T.I. album, or even Jay-Z's most recent project, 444, where Shawn Carter exclusively tries to prevent Jay-Z from interfering any further in his life, but still acknowledges the fact that he needs him. Big Sean doesn't have a separation, it's just him the entire time. To add a little bit more context here, let's bring up somebody like Drake, for instance, who I'm not particularly a fan of. Drake can take the simplest subject in life and make it seem like the best thing in the world. You know how you get two different Drakes? The interview Drake, where he's talking all proper and you would never think he was a rapper, and then we got the rapping Drake who's rapping like he comes straight out of Compton, or the one that sounds like he's from Jamaica, or the one that sounds like he's from the UK. Point is, Drake is never just so direct and uninteresting with the way he describes his life to the point where no one would be interested in it. I mean, as much as a lot of you dislike Drake, you can't sit back and say Drake's life isn't an interesting thought. Big Sean, on the other hand, not so much. Dude is so direct and straightforward with the music that he makes and the subjects he decides to discuss. He leaves nothing really to be desired in the minds of his listeners because he's giving them everything up front with no real impactful delivery to it. Even if he was the most boring person in the world in real life, the fact that he could dramatize it a little bit more and make it somewhat entertaining for the listener would be a nice thing. That's where either an alter ego would benefit him or creating a persona that's a little bit more outgoing or aggressive. J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, pretty much the only thing we get from them is what they give in the music. There's no real reason for you to assume anything about J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar because they only talk about conscious details. They only talk about ideologies, really. And why that is because they stand for ideas. They stand for some kind of concept, some kind of construct. Big Sean doesn't actually have that. He just pretty much is a guy who raps. He doesn't stand as an idea or a concept or any kind of message. He just is Big Sean. That lack of persona, in my opinion, is what makes the music even less interesting. Which leads me to my next point, is his lack of evolution in subject matter or any kind of concept. Big Sean, majority of his lifespan in the rap game has been rapping about him. The biggest thing that I've learned is the more you talk or the longer you speak, the more chances you have to make yourself look like a fool, or in this generation, look corny. I feel like it's easier to rap about concepts or about ideas or to have some kind of thematic thing that you want to run through your album. I mean, I decided it was an album that had a theme to it, but it was only a theme that Big Sean was narrating as an older point in his life. It still wasn't this grand plot or this grand idea that separated himself from the music and said, hey, I'm gonna put something else on here to give them something else to take from. Now, I'm not saying Big Shawn isn't rich. I'm not saying he doesn't live a lavish lifestyle, and I'm not saying that he doesn't have a girl that is beautiful. But the last thing I'm thinking about is, man, I wonder what Big Shawn and Jhené Aiko are doing. Even his relationship isn't interesting to me. This lack of evolution in his subject matter is what makes people more suspect of his lyric, because they feel like they're never gonna really want to listen to something from Big Shawn about his entire life for an entire project. The whole idea of talking too much to the point where you come off as corny is exactly what he does on tracks like Sacrifices, by trying to make it seem gangster for leaving a girl for doing something that you should leave her for, even if you weren't in your position.
Beat it, and if my she know I'm leaving.
That's like telling my mom if I was little, hey mom, you know what? Mom.
What?
If you don't make me dinner, I'm gonna put something in the microwave. It's not sweet. Or telling people on moves that if you touch any of the things that are most important to him, that you're likely to end up going missing, which is something that most people are capable of doing without, you don't need to be a rapper to feel that way.
Touch any of the above, now you harder to find. Gone.
These feelings and thoughts aren't indigenous to Big Shawn. So I empathize with a lot of people that are saying that, you know, it's not possible to be excited about Big Shawn music, because in a lot of instances, it's almost as if like a girl who admits that she's about to give you the most mediocre head and trying to get you to be excited about it. Another reason I feel like people don't really give Big Shawn that same amount of respect is because he doesn't have any classic or best project. His best project is something that people still consider to be mediocre. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of Dark Sky Paradise. I didn't think it was a trash album, but I didn't think it was anything to talk about. I feel like he was a little bit hungrier in his earlier days, and with his most recent project, I Decided, that came out, it wasn't the greatest project I've heard this year, and I definitely don't feel like it deserves an honorable mention. It's without a doubt that Big Shawn is getting better and better and better, but at this point in music, can you really consider an artist to be in those top spots or those upper ranks without a classic project or something you deem as their best project? I feel like there's a basic requirement for your best project to at least be good and not considered mediocre by majority of the people who listen to it before they want to put you in that top spot. And it sucks because, literally speaking, I feel like Big Shawn made a more entertaining record than even Logic did. But guess what Logic has that Big Shawn doesn't? A record that people can go to, that even though they don't consider Logic to be the greatest rapper of all time, he still has a project that is generally accepted by most as one of his better projects. Logic still has a personal best, is my point. His personal best is an album, in my opinion, that's above average, and considered above average by many of the people who listen to it. Shawn, on the other hand, doesn't have that same luxury. One of the reasons I feel like Big Shawn doesn't also get that same respect or appeal is the fact that he doesn't appeal to any kind of demographic, in the sense that he's not appealing to the underground, he's not appealing to the mainstream, and with his music being about such surface level stuff or about such easily consumable detail, pretty much just a bunch of filler lyrics, that commercialized music that Big Shawn totes so much is what prevents him from being appealing to more than one demographic. He doesn't give a concept, which a lot of people at this point, as I said before, would find to be very boring, wanting to hear about Big Shawn's life. Not to mention, unfortunately, Big Shawn seems to be lacking in the music department, because although he's becoming a better rapper, which he definitely is evolving into, it seems like he's forgetting to reinvent his sound. He's not going out of his way to create some kind of special subgenre. He's not doing anything that's very outgoing in terms of the sound of his music. Big Shawn is becoming a better rapper, but in my opinion, he just skips leg day. It just seems like it's taking him a little bit too long to reinvent himself to want to be considered for a top spot in rap. I mean, we just got to the point where people finally stopped calling him as corny as he was before, and then we still gotta wait for a change in music. We still gotta wait for a change in his sound, because the sound he's working with, unfortunately, is very dated. Not to say his selection and beats aren't good or his production isn't good. It's just so traditional and standard for him to want to be in that top spot. He's not doing anything that transformative. How long are we gonna stick with this type of music from Big Shawn, the whole commercialized, repetitive swag rap, for you to want to be put in the top spot? Now, don't get me wrong, okay? Big Shawn is a lyricist first and foremost, okay? But he's a lyricist with no substance, no structure, no concept, no meaning, no depth. He's a guy that knows how to rap, and that's pretty much it. He doesn't really take it any further than that. But you have to applaud him for being able to hold his own with some of the greats like Royce the 5'9", Eminem, because even on tracks with them, I don't ever feel like Big Shawn is out of his league or completely washed, because as I said, he's a good rapper. But even Eminem, with as many filler lyrics and unnecessary lines as he tends to spit, still managed to make music about his personal life and make it interesting at the same time. So pretty much to wrap this video up, I would say Big Shawn has appeal as a rapper, and I'm not even calling him corny because I like Big Shawn. I think he's dope, but he's not my first choice if I'm handed the aux. That's just how I feel about it. Big Shawn, you are not corny. You can be more than what people consider you to be. There is a trend of people that are saying that you're corny for no reason really, or not enough evidence to prove why they say that other than, I just don't like him. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think his issue is? Do you think he needs to improve on anything, or do you think he's getting better the way he is right now? Obviously, him dropping his best project not too long ago is going to get him into more conversations, but at the end of the day, who is this? See, I'm getting distracted. I can't even focus on Big Shawn in a video. So yeah, that's pretty much what I feel like Big Shawn's issue is. I feel like that's what is prohibiting him from being in that conversation. If he fixes those things and makes himself more appealing to more demographics as a persona, makes his personal life more interesting by adding more context, details, layers, concepts within his projects, I feel like people will mess with him more. And to stop taking shots at Kendrick, because it's, if he really decides to bite back, it's gonna be a hard one to recover from. I'm just letting you know. Big Shawn, oh my god, I just called myself Big Shawn. Shawn C, I'm out. Done talking about this. Have a great day. I mean, to be excited about Big Shawn's music, you'd have to be like excited to be hit by like Hurricane Irma. Someone would have to convince you that drinking bleach is exciting for you to be excited about Big Shawn. It's the equivalent of breaking your phone on both sides and not being able to fix it at the Apple repair store. It's like being given a birthday card with no money in it.